We know that there's a ton of people right now that are struggling endlessly with Metaquotes, getting access to even their website, that are any of their brokers that they are using and do trust. So hopefully this solution helps you. One of our community members actually put together. So he got some information from another community member. And without further ado, here you go.
Hello, my name is Robert. Today is April the 1st, 2024. The current time is 12:01 p.m. Eastern. And today I want to show a quick step-by-step video on how to resolve the issue of where many of us can't reach the MQL5 website, which is also known as the Metaquotes website. Many of us, including myself, were having issues like if we had to download an install file for a prop firm or a broker, you would get either a page like this or or a page like this. This is the one I kept getting. It will show up on my VPS no matter what I did. On my local machine, it would do the same. I would even use my VPN and switch locations in case Metaquotes had some kind of country restriction because, for those of you who don't know, they kind of been butt heads for the past couple of months and everybody's had to scramble and find solutions, which many I've already found, or if it's just something random. So there is a guy, another group that I'm with called Scott Miller. He had tagged me on a post, otherwise I'd never seen it, asking me about checking the host file. I'm not going to get into a lot of discussion, techie stuff about the host file. If you want, you can just Google it, and I'll also send you the link to this website. And they have kind of a short description here too, but I'm not going to read through all that. If you're using Windows 11, I would imagine, let me take a quick look. Windows 10 Windows 10 is probably similar, or it looks similar, but most of us are using Windows 11. If you're using a Mac, there's a separate set of instructions I looked up, or I may have to do another Google search really quick. But for the Mac, I can't do the step-by-step because I don't own a Mac computer. Maybe someone else can do it, or but I'll definitely attach the link to instructions to clear the host file on a Mac. So basically, what all we're going to do, let me go ahead and bring mine up here. It tells you which path to use. Well, first of all, I get ahead of myself. They ask you to open Notepad, a new Notepad, and copy this into the file. So we'll just do that. That's not the order I did it in. I think I did it in a different order, but that's okay. So I've already got, let me clear this out. You like that background? It's pretty cool. It's actually on a 49-inch curved monitor. It looks a lot better than the little bit we see here. Anyway, so there's my blank note file. That off there. And let me go back to the instructions here. It says copy the following text and then paste it into the text file or the notepad. When you do this, before you do this, I have to give my disclaimer. I'm not responsible for anything that messes up. Do your own research, and if you have any doubts, ask someone else for assistance, etc., etc., etc. That being said, this is super easy. You don't have to be technical. You just have to know how to navigate to a specific folder, and copy and paste and rename things. That's basically all it is. So going back to this is the file, and basically this just clears out. Actually, before I get started on that, I was going to share something else. Oh, it is in the host file. My bad. And I'm going to delete this because we're going to use my current one as an example. Basically, I'll show you what it looks like. So here's like the top portion of it. It maps domain names to IP addresses. That's all it does. And there's a lot of them on here. And Scott had asked me to check that out, and I'd forgotten about it. And I'm not sure if Metaquotes had purposely put something in there, or maybe there's just an error somewhere that showed up from somewhere else or whatever. I have no idea. But it doesn't matter because I know how to fix it. So what you would do, you take all this, make sure when you do this, and I don't know everybody's level of techiness, as I call it, so I make this basic so anyone can understand it. It's not an insult. It's just, some people know more than others. It's not a big deal. And when you highlight this, make sure there are no spaces on either side of it. It's got to be right next to that. I'm not sure if it has to be, but the times I've done HTML programming and other programming, spaces matter. So I like to be safe. So you'll copy that and paste it into a blank notepad. It's going to look messy. That's fine. That's the way, it's all text. It's nothing formatted. So that's actually the way it should look. Let me go back to the instructions. Here it states on the file menu, select save as hosts and the file name. Okay, that's right. Because this is going to be the new one. I had to think for a second. I'm like, is that right? But yeah. So you'll go in here, click Save As. It's not going to say host, but what you have to do, you have to do it like this. Wait a minute, did they use plural and did they use cap? I have to make sure. I don't think they use cap. I didn't think so. Host in the file menu box, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, it's still under text. That's right. I know what's going on now. Sorry, I had to do a quick refresher. So all you're doing, and this is going to be your new one, and you're going to replace this one with the old one. But before we do that, we need to save this. Save it somewhere I can find it. One thing that's annoying to me, let me minimize this, is Microsoft sometimes when you, and you probably guys probably already know this, it'll move it over here. And you have to go over here and find it, especially in this kind of a background, and drag it back over. It's right there. I'm going to double check, make sure this is the right one. And hold on. It most likely is, but I'll check the properties, see when it was created. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so you put that where you can find it easily. So what it tells us to do now is close Notepad, which I did, and it wants you to search for this directory. And the way you do that, I always do it manually. I can show you two different ways. Hold on. You can do it. This is the easiest way, actually. Go down in your search box and copy and paste it. Let me bring this over. Okay, it's not going to let me, but you see it should be in the shot. Here, it copied and it took us straight to that location. You just double click on it, and it pops up, and there it is. And that's a calendar file. That's host, but ignore that because that's an iCalendar file. It's not what we're dealing with. Actually, that is easier. You should just copy and paste and do that. However, if you prefer to navigate, I should have this memorized by now. I've done it so many times. Let me go back to something random here. If you want to manually navigate, it's under your C drive or wherever your OS is. See if I can remember. Go under Windows. Hold on. I'm going to have to go back because I want to make sure. Windows System 32. Maybe it's, yeah. There we go. System 32. It's under the etc file or the etc file. See, I thought I had it memorized, but I don't. System 32 drivers and then etc. Okay. I'm human like everybody else. I forget. And there you go. So, or you can hear Windows System 32 drivers and then etc. You can do it either way. The other way obviously is quicker, as you've seen. I need to delete this because that was my original one I showed you a minute ago. And Microsoft has us create a new one on our desktop or somewhere else. And they want us, the next step is you go to the one you currently have, which is the wrong one or the one that's corrupt, and you rename it. This is the safest way to do it. Rename it host.old. That way it won't read it. And we'll know what to remove. There we go, host.old. So that's the only actual host file we have. Like I said, ignore that one. And then the next step, all you have to do is come up here, take the one that you just created from the code off the Microsoft website, and drag it down here. You have to have administrator privileges, which I do. There we go. And there's the new one. Now, the reason they want you to do this first, they want to make sure everything works correctly with the new one. But after you verify that everything works correctly with the new one, which it will, because there's actually, let me just open this up. It's just this again. So let me get rid of that too. So there's nothing on there as far as what we've seen before, but they still want you to make sure. So I'll show you what it will look like. Also, I suggest everyone use a password manager. I use 1Password because it works really well and it's really convenient. With password managers, all you have to remember is one really long, complicated passphrase. If you don't know what a passphrase is, it's different than a password. Just Google how to create a passphrase and it'll show up. I may even make a video on that sometime. And for the record, I do work in cybersecurity, so I know a lot about the security stuff. See, you can automatically open and fill here and it automatically do it like that. And you notice it comes up. There's my username and everything works just fine. And let me demonstrate. Let me log out. And then you can also, I'll just leave the page open. Let me close it. Go under here, find it again. I've got probably almost 200 of these things saved. They're really handy. You don't have to remember anything, and these are all random. You got a quick example. It's just random stuff. A passphrase is probably over 40 characters long, and it's part of a song with symbols in it. But if you Google how to make a passphrase, it'll tell you how to do that. But anyway, one more time, MQL5 website. Okay, there it is. You do this, it'll come up here. I don't know why that's there. I'll have to go back and look. And there's that login. There you go. So now after you've replaced your host file with a default one, you should be able to access anything that MQL5 has, which includes all the install files for brokers and prop firms. So basically, that's all there is to it. As I said, it's super simple. So simple, K-Band can do it. Okay, I stole something there. So everyone, have safe trading. Be cautious on your risk sizes and all that stuff. And no, this is not an April Fool's joke. This video is 100% legit. All right, everybody take care.